Before packing the cargo, pay attention to the details for safe delivery.
Senior, you just talked about various regulations for containers to be arranged on board. Give me more examples.
Sure, I'll brief about some cases that I've encountered before. It's related to dimensions, weight, and center of gravity. And I'll also talk about how I resolved these situations. Initially, our client provided the yacht's length, width, and height as 2,600 centimeters by 1,000 centimeters by 1,400 centimeters. The actual cargo height increased by 400 centimeters. The original cargo height was 1,400 centimeters. Initially, the yacht needs 132 TEUs. After then, the yacht needs 176 TEUs. When it was time to ship, the client discovered that their data was incorrect. The actual height of the cargo requires an additional 400 centimeters. Therefore, they could only wait for the next vessel. The client has to bear the fees for this operation and has to purchase more spaces to arrange the yacht for the next loading. I have taught you how to calculate the spaces. So, here's a pop quiz. The client initially wanted to purchase 132 spaces. Now, how many additional spaces do they need to buy?
This yacht is an awkward cargo that needs to be loaded on a flat rack. The length and width of the yacht haven't changed, so I can calculate the number of base plates first. The overall length and width of a 40-foot flat rack is 1,219.2 centimeters and 243.8 centimeters. Therefore, it'll need 11 base plates. The height is 1,800 centimeters minus the internal height of the base plate of 195 centimeters, then divided by the height of one flat rack at 259 centimeters, and finally adding back the flat racks on the base tier for a total of 8 tiers, which means that a total of 11 by 8 equals 88 40-foot flat racks are required. And one 40-foot flat rack takes up 2 spaces. So they'll need 176 spaces, minus the original estimate of 132 spaces, which means they'll need to purchase 44 additional spaces.
Wow, not bad. You're quite good at calculating spaces. In addition to overheight cargo, there's also overwidth cargo. I also encountered a client who put 2 pieces of cargo on one flat rack, and with the cargo already being overwidth, the client stuck the cargo close to the edge of the corner posts. As a result, the flat racks couldn't pass through the entry guide and couldn't be lowered into the cargo hold. They had to be placed on deck.
Wow! It costs more to put the cargo on deck.
Exactly. Cases requiring additional expenses are easy to deal with, but sometimes they may be more dangerous. I've talked to you about the payload of flat racks, but the weight of the cargo simply being lighter than the payload isn't the end of the story. The load capacity for containers at different locations is actually different, and the table we refer to is called the loading chart. For example, taking a piece of cargo that is 8 meters long, weighs 35 tons, and is expected to be loaded in a 40-foot flat rack. Since the 40-foot flat rack can only hold 32.9 tons in an 8-meter area, even if the cargo weight is less than the 40.1-ton limit of a 40-foot flat rack, this cargo still cannot be loaded on a flat rack. Another case related to weight is a small but heavy cargo that damaged the container when it was being shipped.
How did that happen?
Flat racks can be damaged if there's too much pressure or when the weight per unit area is too heavy. It's just like people being able to stand on snow using skis or snowboards. But what happens when someone steps onto snow wearing high heels?
They'll have cold feet? Fine, I know what happens. Their feet will sink through the snow. Therefore, a small but heavy cargo placed on top of a flat rack is like a person putting all their weight on a single patch of snow.
Correct. So, taking a page out of snowboarding, we should lay down some dunnage underneath the cargo to distribute the weight and reduce the pressure on the flat rack. Finally, there's a case related to the center of gravity. For example, there are cases where the center of gravity of the cargo is unstable, and the terminal refuses to load the cargo. Or multiple pieces of cargo are packed into the same flat rack. As a result, the vehicle will turn over due to the imbalance of the cargo during the delivery. In addition to the aforementioned scenarios involving additional expenses or dangerous scenarios, you'll probably encounter clients complaining, "Why doesn't Youngming offer cargo transportation, but other companies do?"
Yeah, why is that?
Different companies have different policies, which result in different acceptance conditions. Therefore, you cannot compare Youngming with other shipping companies. You can refer to the LOSC announcement to learn more about the regulations in detail. What happens next will rely on your flexible application of this foundation of basic knowledge. If you can calmly figure out how to deal with these scenarios when collecting cargo, you'll be able to quickly rise above the other rookies.
All right, I'm going to work my tail off. I hope that you'll take care of me too, Senior. I'd like to welcome everyone else that has joined Youngming Marine Transport. Let's work hard and accomplish great things together.